Kieran. Here we go.
What's
Welcome,
up?
everyone, to the 51st episode of the Some Casual Takes podcast, hosted by me, Stephen Pepper, featuring other sports fans casually debating the hottest topics. This episode is brought to you by no one. I'm just here with Kieran today. Me and Kieran episode. Kieran was in the last episode and just left. But
Dude, I was so tired. I passed out.
dude, I almost missed today's show too because I I almost slept in. Because I
Yeah,
didn't go to bed. I didn't go to bed till 4 a.m.
dude, when I do nothing during the summer, I just go to bed late. It's bad.
Well, I went to bed late last night because I saw Oppenheimer last night, and I went to have you seen Oppenheimer yet?
My brother just saw it. I actually got to see it.
You gotta see. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's movie of the year for me. I haven't seen Barbie yet. I'm gonna see Barbie today, but Oppenheimer's movie of the year to me. It's a great cast, but I saw it at 10:30 because that's the
Yeah,
only time I could see it.
yeah, my brother saw it 9 or
I think a
something.
lot of people are seeing it late. I saw it at 10:30 last night because I wanted to see it in IMAX, and that's one of the only IMAX showings that they had in my area, and I didn't want to drive far. 10:30, and it's a 3-hour long movie, so I didn't get out till 2 a.m.
Yeah,
and which is kind of messed up. But what made it worse, it's so funny a story. Dude, mid-movie, the fire alarm in the theater went off. So they cut off every movie in the theater and waited 20 minutes to see what the fire was about, and there was no fire. Dude, everyone in the theater was kind of shook because it's late. You don't
yeah.
know what happened.
Hmm.
And the fire alarm just goes off. People are like, yo, what? Yeah, and then it was just fake.
Yeah. It's
But it's episode 51. I told you guys episode 50 is the new mark of the podcast. You got the new setup. Not really much of a setup, just in my
we go.
room now. Yeah, I'm just in my room now. I was in my basement for my other setups because I thought it could be louder in my basement, which is true. But there was a lot of echo in my basement, and it's a lot quieter here. Basement's more open. There was a lot of echo I was hearing in my mic. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming to my room. Better backdrop too, because you just saw my basement kitchen in my background. So if you wanted to see a fridge, you got 50 episodes of a fridge. Football heavy podcast today, mostly talking football, which is cool. Training camp started, I think, this weekend. I think training camp started this weekend. The real, before the season, before preseason, real, for real, put pads on, let's go. Camp started this weekend. So more football heavy. I'm also back from vacation as well. So there we go. I'm back from vacation. I know everyone missed me. W Port. I know
Yeah.
everyone missed me. I'm back from vacation now. I was in Vermont. My friend had a house there. Never been to Vermont before. Never heard of Vermont before. No, I'm lying, but it's one of those states where you don't know anyone who lives there. But it's a beautiful state. Have you
I've
ever
been
been
there
to Vermont here?
once, when I was little,
You've been to Vermont.
one time.
How what do you remember of Vermont?
I mean, it was kind of raining the whole time. That's all I remember, which kind of sucked.
It's a very beautiful it's not very populated, so a lot of the trees are still up, a lot of the nature's there. It's cool, and there's a lot of mountains. I didn't really
Yeah.
see a lot of people there too.
Mhm.
And Vermont people are kind of weird. Don't say that disrespect if you're from Vermont. But that's where I was. But during my vacation in Vermont, I watched the quarterback documentary with my friend. You know that Netflix show Quarterback? Did you see that
Yeah.
yet?
Not yet. I'm finishing a show right now, but I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
Well, I watched it. I mean, it's kind of hard. I can't say I'm spoiler free because the content of the show is mostly the season,
Hmm.
and it's only a spoiler if you didn't watch it last season. Um, am I gonna spoil you that Mahomes won the Super Bowl? Is that a spoiler, Kieran? Did I just spoil the show?
Oh,
Mahomes won the Super Bowl, by the way.
oh my God, he did.
Oh
I
my
didn't know.
God, Mahomes, Marcus Mariota got benched. Was that a spoiler? Oh my God. That's the Vikings lost to the Giants in the playoffs. Was that a spoiler? Um,
That was a
yeah, it was a
great
good show. I
spoiler.
watched it all the way through in one day. One of my first days in Vermont. I really enjoyed it. Came out about a week ago. If you don't know what the show is about, the show follows around 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League, and I don't know if they did this purposely, but I believe they chose 3 different types of quarterbacks. One being like the best of the best, Patrick Mahomes, the other being like a average to like pretty good quarterback in Kirk Cousins, a reliable guy, and then third being a fighting for his job guy in Marcus Mariota. I think they did that on purpose, but I'm not quite sure. So they followed around those 3 quarterbacks of the season, and it was just an interesting show. So much film that we've never seen before behind the scenes of what goes on the process of being a quarterback and taking all those hits throughout the season. We got to see Mahomes win a Super Bowl. I mean, the script lined up perfectly for these guys. I think the NFL rigged the season just so they can have this show because Mahomes won this Super Bowl literally the year they made the show. Kirk Cousins. I mean, Vikings had a really good season and they made it to the playoffs. So that was good for their show. You're gonna like Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna tell you this. You're gonna like Kirk Cousins after the show. I know you're very anti Kirk Cousins. You're gonna like Kirk Cousins at the end of the show, man. I'm not saying you're gonna think Kirk Cousins like top 10, but like as a person, Kirk Cousins as a person.
Oh no, I know he's a nice person. I just don't like him as a quarterback. That's all I care about. I just don't like him as a quarterback.
Yeah, I think they were 9-1 at one point last season. So how many quarterbacks going 9-1?
Yeah.
And then also Marcus Mariota getting cut. I mean, he didn't get cut; he got benched. That was interesting perspective to see. So 3 different quarterbacks. We get to see a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a reliable quarterback who gets his team to the playoffs, and Marcus Mariota battling for his job. It was kind of just interesting getting in those guys' heads. You don't really see that every day. But one thing I noticed in the film, and I want to present this to you. One thing I noticed in the show was since it was, they filmed Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And they filmed throughout, it took us throughout the entire Chiefs season. Pretty much every game was at least highlighted throughout the season. That Chargers game, that Raiders game. That one guy that was going off was Travis Kelce. And it brought me back into the season where I'm like, man, this man Travis Kelce is really dominant because they're showing all these games where Travis Kelce's put up 2 to 3 touchdowns. He's like the only guy Mahomes is throwing to. And it flashed me back to the season because Travis Kelce was my tight end on fantasy football last year. I didn't win the championship, but he took me to the championship. I kind of forgot how valuable a guy like Travis Kelce is in his position because how scarce that position is, how dominant he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already seen topics like this on Twitter. I've seen debates going back and forth recently about Kelce. Every time Kelce's in the news, he won that golf tournament. Yeah, Mahomes and Kelce won that golf tournament, right? The match. I think they beat Steph and Clay. They had that golf tournament, and people were in the comment section saying Gronk's still better. Gronk this, Gronk that, not better than this, that. And I'm thinking to myself about Travis Kelce and how dominant he is. And I'm over here like, I think Travis Kelce will go down as the greatest tight end ever. What are your thoughts on that?
My thing is, I think Kelce will have the second best longevity as a tight end because as a tight end, I don't think anyone's passing Gonzalez when it comes to longevity. My problem is I can't really see an argument for him to be over Gronk just because I think Gronk, he's the best blocking tight end of all time. He's also an elite receiving threat. So I'm not really sure. But, I think Kelce would have to play, at least till he's 40 at this level for me to put him over Gronk.
Yeah, he's 33 right now. 5 more seasons would be 38. But when I think about Kelce, it's like, I think Kelce will go down as the GOAT tight end. I mean, by the end of his career, other than Tony Gonzalez, his stats and accolades will blow pretty much everyone out the water. Currently, right now, Travis Kelce is top 5 in receiving yards and receptions amongst tight ends all time. And by the end of the season, I don't think there's a doubt that he'll be top 5 in touchdowns. I believe he's 6th right now.
Yeah. So, if you want to give a perspective where I have Travis Kelce all time, personally for me, I think I have Gronk, I have Tony Gonzalez, and then I have Shannon Sharp. And the reason why it's not because the stats, it's because the era he played in, he was far and away the best tight end in the league in the 90s. And I just think he's an overall better player. But if you wanted to put Kelce, I'm not mad about that because I think it's pretty interchangeable when it comes to player to player. If you value the route running from Kelce, I really can't disagree with you, but that's just me.
Wait, let me take my headphones out. I think every time I use my AirPods,
And
it just lags my stream. I don't
yeah,
know.
you're good.
But by the end of Kelsey's career, he will be, I think, top 3 in
I
all those
definitely think
categories at the very minimum.
I definitely think that Kelsey will finish as the third best tight end. I'm high on Shannon Sharp, but he'll eventually pass Shannon Sharp for me.
And you want to know why I'm so confident in this Kelsey take is because the pace he's at right now. I
Yeah,
mean, Kelsey already has had the most 1,000 receiving yard seasons by a tight end ever, and he did that consecutively.
yeah,
He is currently the highest yards per game by a tight end ever. And you could say, oh, he has Patrick Mahomes. But like almost every great pass catcher has had a great quarterback. A lot of people are going to fight for Rob Gronkowski as the GOAT. He had Tom Brady for his entire career. Shannon Sharp, Elway, Tony Gonzalez. Now, he
Ye-
didn't have the greatest quarterbacks ever, but he still had Matt Ryan for a point of time. But
yeah.
Travis Kelce, too, you can say Mahomes all you want. You can say Andy Reid. But before Travis Kelce was a first-team All-Pro before Patrick Mahomes. He could claim he was the best tight end in the world before Mahomes.
Yeah.
And this season especially really convinced me that Kelce will go down as the GOAT tight end. Because think about where the Chiefs were going in the season. They lose Tyreek Hill, arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. Everyone, pretty much everyone was like, this Chiefs offense is going to change. This Chiefs offense is going to get hurt. They're going to go down in production. It's not going to be the same. And what did we see this season? They still won the Super Bowl. Mahomes' stats didn't bat an eye, and he was the MVP of this league. And a large reason because of that is because Travis Kelce, he was so dominant. The man could find any hole in his zone as a receiver. He could run so many rounds as a receiver. He was so dominant as a pass catcher that the Chiefs' offense was still the number 1 team in the league. And that was because Travis Kelce.
I think also a big part of it is Mahomes changing his game a little bit because like you watch him from 2018 and now, like Mahomes is a much better pocket passer, I think, now than he was in 2018. I think in 2018 he relied on the deep ball a lot, especially to Tyreek Hill. That's why like they were one of the most explosive offenses in the league. But like when you have a guy like Travis Kelce and you make Mahomes a pocket passer, it's going to be the most effective offense in the league because they're arguably the 2 best players at their position. Even though I don't think Kelsey's one, but that's just me.
I think Kelce can get close. Even if he doesn't catch Tony Gonzalez in the yards, I think he can get close. I think he can easily pass. I think he has 3 more All-Pros left till he ties Tony Gonzalez for All-Pros by a tight end. And he's got the Super Bowls. He's got catches in the Super Bowl. He's very important to winning games, very important to producing high-level offenses. I think when it's all said and done, Travis Kelce will be the greatest tight end ever. Gronk, I will say Pete Gronk. I'm taking Pete Gronk over Kelce, but Kelce's more reliable. Kelce's more durable. He's gonna have the longevity. He's gonna have better stats. I guess
I
if you
think
want to throw Super Bowls in the argument, which is not really a tight end thing, if you want, because some people are gonna do Super Bowls. Kelce's gonna. What does Gronk have? 3 Super Bowls?
yeah.
Yeah, he has 3, 15, 17, and
Uh
19.
no, he's
Yeah.
4. He's 4.
Oh, Tampa Bay as well. Yeah, Tampa Bay. Yeah, Tampa Bay. But he didn't play in the 17 Super Bowl though.
No, he didn't. Oh, wait, no, he
Yeah.
did. No, he didn't.
He didn't
He
play in the 17 Super Bowl.
he didn't play against the Falcons. He played against the Eagles.
Yeah, he didn't play against. That's why I said the 7. He didn't play against the Falcons in that Super Bowl.
So
No.
14.
The Seattle one. I think they
Yeah,
still count it because he still played in that season though. So I think they still gave him a championship.
he still has 5, right? Yeah.
No, 4. 3 in New England, 1 in Tampa Bay. Because he joined in 2011, and then he lost against the Giants. He beat Seattle. He caught a touchdown against Seattle. Although I think he gets credited for a Super Bowl in 2017 against the Falcons. I don't think he played in that game. He lost against the Eagles, the Rams. He actually played. He had that huge catch against the Rams in 2019.
Yeah, you're right. He is 4. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, but I don't think he played against the Falcons though. I think he was hurt. I
So
think
like,
I think I know that because I used that in a Tom Brady argument.
I just I want to talk about Tony Gonzalez real quick. I think he's
Yeah,
gonna get underrated all the time, just because when you look at those Chiefs offenses, like back in the early 2000s and like mid 2000s, like these running backs are getting like 400 carries, 350 carries a year,
yeah,
and
Priest Holmes.
like the fact that like Tony Gonzalez is getting close to 1,000 yards, and some even years having like over 1,000 yards, that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
He gets underrated because he never won the Super Bowl. Trust me, because he
Like,
never won the Super Bowl, which is not his fault, by the way, because he's a tight end.
yeah, and I think Gonzalez is a better player than Kelsey. But that's just me. Like, if I'm not going off stats, I think Gonzalez is a better player. But I do think Kelsey will finish third all time.
Yeah, I think Kelsey might finish second. Not gonna lie, passing Gonzalez is gonna be hard, but I think he can do it. I think he'll pass him in receptions. I think he'll probably pass him. Actually, I think he has about almost 900 receptions, and Gonzalez has like 1.3 thousand.
I kind
But
of
at the
look.
rate he's at, I mean, Kelsey's having what 100 reception seasons, 1,000 yard seasons. At the rate he's at, I think he could. I think how many yards does Kelsey have right now? I think Kelsey
I
is
mean,
on.
Kelsey. So the catch, I don't think he's going to catch receptions, dude. Gonzalez, it has 13. He has 1,325 receptions.
What's Kelsey at? Like 800.
Yeah, and he's 30. He's going to be 34 in the season.
So
So like
he needs like what 5 more years.
5. I'm not sure about that.
5 more 1,000 yard seasons. Well, 17 game seasons. Patrick Mahomes. Does this count? Does those statistics count postseasons or no?
No, they don't.
Okay, so 5 more seasons with Patrick Mahomes. If he does 5 more seasons with 100 receptions, 1,000
I mean,
yards,
I gotta eventually put him at 2 if he's going to do that. Like,
yeah, passing
but
Tony
like
G is gonna be hard. But he
I,
has 3 less All Pros than Tony G, which I think he could probably pass. All he
I
needs is
mean,
4 to pass him.
Tony Gonzalez was first team All Pro at 37. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
But with Kelsey's durability, I don't think he's missing games. He
I
could
mean,
do it.
Gonzalez never really missed games, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
got,
why his durability is so great. But Kelsey also has some pretty good durability.
yeah. I don't think Kelsey's missed a game.
I will
No, he's.
say though, Gronk would be the GOAT if he had better durability.
I still think Gronk is the goat, but that's just me.
I can't say Gronk's the GOAT because statistically he's not better than any of those guys. He doesn't have as many all pros as those guys. Peak Gronk is peak tight. I think Gronk peaked as the best tight end ever, but but just I can't go off. What do you say?
You're gonna hate my number 2 peak. You're gonna hate it.
Your number 2 peak?
Yeah, for tight ends. You're gonna hate it.
I can't think of a name that you're gonna say that would be like. Is it George Kittle?
It's George Kittle, yeah.
It's not a horrible. What is it because of the blocking?
Like I think when it comes like the thing about George Kittle, this man had 1,400 yards with fucking Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard as his quarterbacks, and he was also I also think he is the second best blocking tight end of all time, right behind Gronk.
He's a
So
great yak player.
I don't think there's like any flaw in George Kittle's game. I really don't.
Jimmy Garoppolo in the offense. I wish they involved George Kittle more, man. Sometimes George Kittle have 3 receptions, 54 yards, and I'm like, dude, there's just no way they're not using him like that.
Yeah, and like it's not like that George Kittle got worse. It's that like you add Debo Samuel, you add Brandon Ayuk, you add Christian McCaffrey. Like
He kind of gets lost in that offense. He's a great blocker. He had some 2 touchdown games this season. He had some games where he was going off. I think Seattle he had 2 touchdowns.
I mean, he had like 11 touchdowns this year, which is pretty
Yeah.
good in 13 games. Like it's actually really good.
I think Brock Purdy liked him more than Jimmy Garoppolo in that offense. I
Yeah,
don't know.
bro.
I think it'll be interesting to see, dude, if George Kittle can get Travis Kelce type looks, Travis Kelce type attention, targets. I don't know. Conversation might be different, but it is what it is, man. All right, let's switch to this. Let's
Yeah.
talk Saquon Barkley. You're not a
Mhm.
Giants fan, right? Even though you have a Giants
I
jersey
mean,
in your room.
like they're like my second team because I'm from New Jersey, but whatever.
Okay. So the Giants, Saquon Barkley. Actually, I think you can explain this situation better than I am. So they offered him a franchise tag,
Yeah.
correct? And he said, nah. Did they offer him a real contract yet?
Uh, yeah. I think it was like 12 mil a year, and they were like 2 million short what he was asking. I think
Mm.
so. But I think it's a bad idea for running backs to hold out because if you want to hear these guys, I can pull it up right now. So the history.
The guys in the Zoom meeting.
No, I'm talking about like that running backs that held out and like were never
Oh,
the
held
same.
out throughout history. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So so
yeah.
so Le'Veon Bell in 2018, he got a massive contract with the Jets. He was never the same player. Never the same player. Melvin Gordon, same year. Never the same player with Denver. He's out of the league after 2 years.
Mm.
Maurice Jones-Drew had one of the best years in 2011. Sat out in 2012. Had the worst year of his career. Chris Johnson in 2011. He was on the Titans for 2 years after that. Larry Johnson had four, as I mentioned before, he had like the record for most carries in the season. He was never the same player and never rushed for over like 800 yards again after that, after his holdout. Like the history of like running backs holding out is so bad right now. It's really bad.
So these running backs are holding out because how teams view them. These running backs want to get paid and they want security on their job. They don't want these 1 year franchise tags. And I think they know. I think they're self aware about the market. So if you don't know already, like he just told you, history of running backs holding out. Basically, if a running back comes off his rookie deal, he's looking to get paid. He's looking to get a payday. Problem is, these teams, they don't want to pay these running backs because they know that they're really at their most value on the rookie deal. And then if they pay them, history shows that they're going to decline because they have so much tread on their tires. Running back's a hard position to be durable in. But these running backs don't want to get paid. Who doesn't want to get paid and who wants to get job security? But the running back market is declining. This is no longer a valuable running back league. Teams aren't valuing a lot of running unless you're like Nick Chubbs, unless you're like the Derrick Henry. I think that's why the Giants are tripping a little bit too, because I think their entire offense is built around Saquon Barkley. I think they should pay Saquon in this situation, but this isn't a league built around running backs anymore. And the running back market is completely tanked. When you look at the franchise tags that these running backs are getting offered instead of long-term contracts, I saw a stat on ESPN. You know the franchise tag has actually gone down for running backs by a
Yep.
couple $100,000. In every other position, it's gone up. Quarterback has gone up. Wide receiver, I think it's gone up since a couple years ago. It's gone up like $4 or $5 million. I think
Yeah.
it's almost $20 million now for a franchise tag to wide receiver. When a running back is like $11 million. So you franchise tag a wide receiver, that's 20 mil. You franchise tag Derrick Henry, that's $11 million. So running backs understand that their market is declining. So they went on a Zoom call. Austin Eckler, Chargers running back, he hosted a Zoom call with some of the best running backs in the game. I don't know how Najee Harris got an invite, but some of the best running backs
Hold
in
on,
the
hold on.
game.
Why did Austin Eckler make that Zoom call?
He can't run the
Anyway,
football. He can't run the football. And he called
anyway.
anyway, so he hosts a Zoom call with some of the best running backs in the NFL. Somehow Najee Harris got a link. I don't know. And they were talking about just the state of the market. They kind of band together, kind of like unionized about this market. So the guys featured Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Tony Pollard, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, J.K. Dobbins, Najee Harris. So basically, like if you were to make a top 10 running backs list in football, minus like a Dalvin Cook, those are all the running backs, and they were on the Zoom call. And they kind of talked about the state of the running back market. And Nick Chubb had something to say after the Zoom call. He said, right now, there's really nothing we can do. We're kind of handcuffed to the situation. We're the only position that our production hurts us the most. If we go out there and run 2,000 yards with so many carries, the next year they're going to say you're probably worn down. It's tough, and it hurts us at the end of the day. He's kind of spitting. These teams see that these running backs, 100 carries here, 2,000 yards there, year after year, you're the focal point getting all these hits. You're not going to be as fast as you are in year 5, unless you're like Adrian Peterson and can still rush for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in year 9. Most running backs don't have that durability. They're done by like year 5. We've seen Zeke. We've seen Le'Veon Bell. You brought them up. Like, these guys are done by year 5 when they come out the league and they're the focal point of offenses. But let's just face it. This is not a running backs league anymore. You do not need these elite backs to win. Kieran, what's the goal of the NFL?
To have an elite quarterback and win the Super Bowl.
To win the Super Bowl. Yes, to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Go through the last 20 Super Bowl winners, Kieran. Who are the best running backs to win the Super Bowl?
That is a good question. Like, I think it's Marshawn Lynch, actually.
Marshawn Lynch and Ray Rice. And those guys are outliers. And although Marshawn Lynch was good, Ray Rice was good for his time, those guys still didn't even make top running back dollar. They didn't make top dollar. They only made a couple $1 million a year, and those were the outliers in terms of talent. Most of the guys who win Super Bowls throughout the last 20 years are your Damian Williams, your Sony Michels, your LeGarrette Blunts. Solid. These guys aren't bums. Some of these guys could push for 1,000 yards in the season if you gave them some carries. But most of those guys would be running back 2s on a lot of NFL rosters.
Yeah.
They're not elite running backs. Those aren't top 10 running backs in football. Those are middle of the pack running back number 2s starting because the team doesn't have an elite running back. And a handful of those teams in the last 20 years actually won multiple Super Bowls. I'm thinking about the New York Football Giants, the Patriots, the Steelers.
They had Bradshaw, like
the Chiefs. They won multiple Super Bowls. None of them had star running backs, and none of them, and a lot of those teams also won those 2 Super Bowls in like a 4-year span.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them had a repeat starter. I don't think any of them had a repeat starting running back.
The funny thing is, you mentioned Marshawn Lynch and Ray Rice. Like, even then, they weren't the most important part on their team.
No, they were not. No, the offense was not built around them.
Like, Joe Flacco was the main reason why they won that Super Bowl. Like, the Legion of Boom was the main reason why they won that Super Bowl. It wasn't because of Marshawn Lynch or Ray Rice.
Sorry.
Like, and yeah, I'm not saying like these guys weren't elite. Like, obviously, they were some of the best like elite running backs in the league, like top 5 running backs. But you need elite coaching. You need elite quarterbacks. Basically, elite quarterbacks and coaching is probably the 2 most important things. Like,
quarterback coach duo. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It like, you can't rely on the run game like the 90s. It's like 2-way pass heavy now. Like,
yeah. The best way to win, get a quarterback, get a coach, get a decent offensive line, and get an elite pass catcher. Pass catcher over elite running back any day in this offense if you want to win a Super Bowl.
And like, it's funny you mention it, like with the contract situation. There's only like a few running backs I would actually give like a big contract to. Like, not like a huge contract, but like a pretty big one. That's Derrick Henry. That's Nick Chubb. That's Christian McCaffrey. That's Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, and Jonathan Taylor. Those are the only 6 running backs I would do.
Yeah.
Because I think those are the only guys that can are the actual, arguably the main pieces to their offense.
Build an offense around type guys, yeah.
Yeah. Like, listen, I understand Aaron Jones is great. Like, I understand he's great, but he's not on the level of those guys.
Oh, yeah. Are you building an offense around Aaron Jones?
Fuck no. No. I mean, he's good, but, he's not on those levels, guys.
Yeah, I think a Joe Mixon-centered offense is winning 2 games.
Probably none, to be honest.
0-17 is J.K. Dobbins-centered offense.
Joe Mixon had 1 good game this year.
He's not getting paid. He's not going to be a Bengal once his contract's up.
He's like not good anymore. It's like sad.
Tread on the tires, man. It's interesting how running backs, we see it all the time across the NFL. When they get drafted year 1, year 2, they're already top 15. And then for the next 3 years, they're top 15, but it's time to get paid. They're only top 15 for like one more year after that payday, and it's over with. It happens way too many times. I mean, again, I said Adrian Peterson, but can you think of a running back in the last 20 years who could be really productive outside of year 9? Was like Frank Gore?
I can think of Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, and that's it.
Like outside of year, like beyond year 8. It's kind of hard. Like look at Zeke Elliott.
Zeke is out of the league. And he's 27. He's young. He's like the same age as Nick Chubb right now.
Running back. Hey, I saw a meme. I don't want to take credit for the joke, but it's like Leonardo DiCaprio. When Leonardo DiCaprio's girl becomes older than like 27 years old, he breaks up with them. It's kind of like NFL teams with their running backs. Once you hit like 27, it's over.
Yeah.
Once you're 5 years out of college, it's over.
The crazy thing is Todd Gurley is 28 years old. He is younger than Derrick Henry.
Man.
Younger than Derrick Henry. And he's retired. It's
some
sad.
of those running backs, when you look at the top 10 running backs from like 2018, 2017, like half of them aren't even good anymore.
Yeah,
Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon. These are dudes who can rush for like 1.4 thousand yards in a season, and they're literally nothing.
Todd Gurley, like Zeke, who's another one was back then? Like I'm trying to think. Like even LaShawn McCoy in the 2010s. Like none of these guys they're either out of the league or just suck.
Look what happened when DeMarco Murray got paid. I mean, he was solid those first like year or so after he got paid. But he was
good in Tennessee.
Yeah, but it wasn't like crazy.
He wasn't. Yeah, he definitely wasn't like, oh my God, DeMarco Murray, almost 2,000 yards in a season. Like, I mean, like when you're getting like I'm surprised Derrick Henry's still even good right now.
I know, but I'd still pay him because if you're Tennessee and your whole offense relies on one person, this is the thing about this New York Giants situation too. The Giants are just better with Saquon Barkley. I don't know what the Giants would look like without him. Like, what's their plan without Saquon?
Do a lot of play action with Daniel Jones, throwing to Isaiah Hodgins and shit.
I don't like this Giants team without Saquon. Now, yeah, like you said, the Browns, Titans, Giants, Raiders, you have Devontae, so it's like,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I do think even though I hate Josh McDaniels, I do think Josh Jacobs benefits a lot from his scheme. So,
but like those three guys, I would give a lot of money to because if they're off that offense, you don't have an elite quarterback or you don't have this elite like team. The Browns, I guess they have Amari Cooper that could kind of survive, but I don't think that's a playoff team without Nick Chubb. I don't know.
Their run game would be terrible without Nick Chubb.
Is Kareem Hunt still a Brown or is he gone?
He's gone.
Where's he at now?
He's not on a team.
How?
I don't know. He just hasn't signed yet, I guess. Which makes no sense.
Is he looking for RB1 type money?
No, I think he just like I just don't think he's been offered a lot.
He's probably looking to get paid. I think he was looking to get paid last year, and the Browns were looking to trade him.
Which makes no sense. Like, I don't know. I would still give Kareem Hunt a chance. He's still.
I think he's a good RB2. I think he's a good RB2. I don't think he's a starter, but I think he's a good RB2. You see those Madden ratings?
Dude. Madden never gets it right. Like to start, they never get it right.
Do you play Madden?
Yeah, sometimes.
I don't really play Madden anymore, but man, these ratings, man. Ratings.
Okay. The fact that like Justin Herbert is an 87 overall is kind of crazy.
He's a 90.
He's a 90?
No, I'm saying he should be a 90.
Oh.
He's an 87.
Yeah. Dak and Herbert at the same rating, man.
Dak Prescott got an X factor when Justin Herbert didn't. Dak got an X factor over Jalen Hurts. Oh my
Wait,
god.
what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Aaron Rodgers at 86. Would you bump Aaron Rodgers up?
I I still think Aaron Rodgers is one of the best 5 quarterbacks in football. So yeah, I would put him at a 90.
Tua has a higher overall than Trevor Lawrence and Geno Smith
That
and
is
Kyler Murray.
that is disgusting.
Yes.
That is the worst. That is awful.
Jimmy Garoppolo has a higher overall at 77. He's tied with Russell Wilson. Higher than Justin Fields, Tannehill, Daniel Jones, and Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's only 1 overall higher than Bryce Young, 2 overall higher than Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud and Kenny Pickett.
Wow. I don't I just did my quarterback rankings. I put Stafford at 12. I still think he should be like an 80, 81.
They just don't, dude. I don't like seeing Stafford at 75.
I don't like see
What has Bryce Young done to be? They got Stafford as the 22nd quarterback per rating.
That's really mean. The fact that Kyler and like Stafford aren't even 80s is kind of absurd.
Yeah, I don't think Madden devs watch football. So this is the top 10 quarterbacks per Madden. So Madden made their top 10 quarterbacks list. Mahomes, Burrow is an overall higher than Josh Allen.
I think they should be the same overall.
I think they should be too. Lamar, Hurts, Dak Prescott. There's a pretty big gap between. Okay. Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, and then Tua. Trevor Lawrence is 11.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Is he like an 82?
82, yeah. And Tua is an 83. And Kirk Cousins is an 84 overall. Let's go, Kirk. Let's go.
Should be like a 68.
Kirk Cousins, 2 overalls less than Aaron Rodgers. There we go.
That is crazy. That is crazy, dude. Oh my god.
Madden devs.
Kirk Cousins had a worse QBR than Kenny Pickett this year. That's an actual stat, and I'm not joking.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I think Jared Goff was like 5 in QBR. Baker Mayfield, 72 overall. He should be an 80, but it's fine.
Wait, what?
No jokes.
Baker's fucking trash.
Anthony Richardson's at a 7.
70? Yeah.
Yeah. Hendon Hooker. They put him at a 68. That's the same overall as Heineke and Tyler Huntley. That's higher than Trubisky, Mills, and Mike White and Gardner Minshew due to 1 games in this league.
Hendon Hooker's 25, dude.
They're kind of high on Hendon Hooker. They got him above due to 1 games in this league. Tyrod Taylor. Cooper Rush. Skylar Thompson, 65 overall. Shout out to Skylar Thompson.
Literally the worst quarterback in the league.
Hey, Colt McCoy. Yo, he sucks. But the fact that he's still in this league, shout out to Colt McCoy, man.
I think he's been in the league since I'm like been 8 years old.
He's been, when was he drafted?
2010.
2010? Still in the league. Hey, gotta respect dudes who still get paid in this league, man.
Hey, he owned Tom Brady in 2010, by the way.
He almost, nah, it wasn't Colt McCoy. He got hurt when the Cardinals played the Bucs and almost won. Who was their quarterback? Oh, Trace McSorley. Yeah, Trace McSorley was in the game and almost beat Tom Brady. I thought that was funny.
That is hilarious.
All right, let's switch to this. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go to NBA now. Let's talk some NBA. There's not much in the NBA world. I know the most about NBA, and there's just not much to talk about. Dame still hasn't been traded. James Harden still hasn't been traded. Just off season for NBA right now. No trades are happening anymore. We're kind of in a dead period where everyone pretty much got signed, other than like a Christian Wood type level player. That's about it. But speaking of James Harden, I want to congratulate Joel Embiid on getting married over the weekend. Getting married is one of the, if not the best day of your life. And for a man, when you get married, you want all your boys there. Kieran, if you get married, I don't know, you want all your boys there. If you're a girl, you want all your girls there. Essentially, if you get married, you want all your friends there so you can share the moment, party with your friends. It's the night of your life. You want all your friends there. Joel Embiid's on the same wavelength. So Joel Embiid invited all of his 76ers teammates to his wedding. He wanted to – I know Trae Young got married too, but we're talking about Joel Embiid. He invited all of his 76ers teammates to his wedding. There's a guy missing, though. Can you guess who the guy who was missing?
James Harden.
James Harden was not at Joel Embiid's wedding over the weekend. So James Harden requested a trade from the 76ers in the offseason. He actually signed the extension and then requested a trade from the 76ers. So he's been a little distant from the team. There's some room. He still hasn't got traded yet. It's been a couple of weeks, but it feels like the Clippers are the leading team in that market. I don't really see a lot of other teams in James Harden rumors other than the Clippers, unless you have another team in mind.
I thought the Knicks were in play, but they're not. I'm not only saying that.
I'm hearing more Joel Embiid to the Knicks, actually.
Really?
Man. Yeah, but it's like if Embiid ever wants out, I always keep hearing him in the Knicks.
I mean, what? Like, my problem with James Harden is that he's going to be 34 going into the next season. Like, he's still one of the best playmakers in the league, but he's clearly regressing as a scorer. Like, it's kind of evident at this point. Like, what team do you think can like
Clippers
take James Harden?
Clippers are the only team I think want to take James Harden. You know where James Harden was over the weekend? Rolling Loud. Oh, no, I don't. Have you seen that video? So you didn't know where he was at. So I'm going to pull up the video. This man, James Harden, was at Rolling Loud. And you know what he was doing at Rolling Loud?
What?
Eating hamburgers. James Harden's picking up some weight, man. It's that time. It's fat suit Harden time. But I'm over here
He's definitely getting traded now. He is definitely
getting traded. But Kieran, this is who Harden is now. James Harden rather catch a flight and party with little baby after a loss than go put up shots. James Harden would rather eat a stack of hamburgers while listening to Lil Yachty at Miami's Rolling Loud than go to his MVP teammate's wedding. They're still technically teammates, by the way. I know he requested a trade, but he's still technically teammates with them. I mean, James Harden's playmaking helped Joel Embiid win an MVP. They've been teammates for 2 years, went to postseasons. Go to his wedding. You're supposed to be his boy.
Yeah, it's just like
if I'm the Clippers, which seems like that's the only team really interested in a James Harden market, I'm not giving up my depth for James Harden.
Yeah, like I mean the Clippers, like we've seen what the Clippers are when they're healthy. Like they're probably the second best team in the West.
They're one of the best teams in the NBA when fully healthy.
Like now you're just getting another injury-prone player to add with your 2 injury-prone players, like that you don't really need to trade for him. Like I just wouldn't trade for James Harden.
I wouldn't trade for him either. And Kieran, you give up all of your depth, you give up some of your remaining future. Let's say it doesn't work because you have that terrible injury history in the Clippers. Who's to say Paul George doesn't put up another fat suit and request a trade up out of there too? James Harden, this is who he is right now. He's got 3 trade requests in the last 3 years. He doesn't like his situation in Houston, request a trade. Fine. Put on a fat suit, gain some weight to force his hand. Fine. Now you go to Brooklyn Nets. A great situation. Didn't have to leave. Could have contended for a title there. You had some injury troubles. You were one of the best teams in the NBA. Then all of a sudden you request a trade. You put on a fast suit, request a trade. Then you go to the 76ers. Again, another great situation. Joel Embiid, an Eastern Conference that you can take, a wide open East, MVP teammate, and you request a trade.
One game away from the conference final.
Now you're over in Rolling Loud instead of going to off-season workouts, getting your body right to be your best shape to maybe run it back with the 76ers or go to a potential new team. You're eating a stack of hamburgers at Rolling Loud. This is who James Harden is. He's also declining, by the way. He's not 2019. He's declining, by the way.
like he can't get like he can get away with this when he's like 25, but he's gonna be 34.
This is who James Harden is. Fat suit, partying, instead of focusing on winning a championship and building team chemistry.
And it really sucks. Like James Harden's been close a lot of times,
A
and
lot of
like
times.
I just don't think he cares. Like I really
That
don't
Brooklyn situation still surprised me. Now, do you know the whole reason why he requested a trade out of Brooklyn?
I think he just like wanted to go to Philly. Like
They were one of the best teams in the NBA.
they were really the first seed. They were really the first seed. Like before he left.
They were just hurt the year before. That's why they didn't beat Milwaukee. They had a really great chance to run it back and actually claim that title. And he requested a trade. And now he requested a trade from Philly. I still don't understand why he requested a trade from Philly. Like, where does he want to go? Phoenix? I guess he wanted to go to Phoenix. I don't know. But
Oh
Phoenix.
my god! Please do not go to Phoenix.
Well, he's not going to Phoenix anymore, but this was like before they got Bradley Beal. I guess maybe he wanted to go to Phoenix. I don't know.
The Suns
But
could be really
But
disappointing.
the fact that he's grabbed a stack of hamburgers at Rolling Loud while his MVP teammate is getting married, while he's on the trade block. Those burgers must have been good. He grabbed 4 of them.
He's such a clown.
He's such a clown. I love this picture, though. It's so funny. When it's time to get traded, throw on the suit. But I got no other topics to talk about, Kieran. If you have a topic that you want to bring up to the floor, you can. But I'm out of topics today.
I want to talk about how Kirk Cousins is overrated.
Okay. Let's hear it, man. By the way, everyone thinks Kirk Cousins is the most underrated quarterback in football.
I honestly don't know why. Like I don't know why. Like
What do you mean why?
Like why do people think he's underrated? Like his advanced stats are mid. They're like worse than like most like freaking backups. He doesn't have great improvisation. He's good over the middle of the field. I'll give him credit. His pocket presence is not that good. And I just think he's just like has mid everything. He's mid accuracy. He's just like I think he holds Justin Jefferson back than more people realize. Like I really do.
I think people call him underrated because people only see the best of the best quarterbacks and they think that everyone else who isn't the best of the best quarterback is just not good. But they don't realize how valuable a guy like Kirk Cousins could be to an organization. I mean, a guy who could give you voice crack, a guy who can give you 4,000 yards a season, win your division, win 10 to 12 games, take you to the playoff and contend for a playoff game.
Well, like I think the most reason why that Kirk Cousins has a mid record like in his career is that he's not that good against elite defenses. Like if you look at his stats from elite defenses compared to like some of the bottom defenses in the league, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in those stats. I can't really find those stats. But like look at last year. Eagles, elite defense, got fucking destroyed. Dallas got destroyed. Packers, they're not even that good of a defense. They're a good defense, but like they're not that good. Like Kirk Cousins has struggled against elite defenses almost every time he's played one. I'm not that like listen, I'll give Kirk Cousins credit. He has a good floor. You know what you're gonna get out of him. But if you want to win a championship, I'm not taking Kirk Cousins. I'm personally not taking Kirk Cousins. I think he has the same issues as Goff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the best defenses in the league. Who did he play? Packers like a middle of the pack defense. Yeah.
I mean, look at Buffalo. I know they won that game, but Kirk Cousins still threw 3 interceptions in that game. He was
and Buffalo was an elite defense.
Yeah, he did not play good. Shout out Justin Jefferson.
Wow. I think I'm gonna look at Kirk Cousins' overall stats. Kirk Cousins. I think when people, I think people just call him underrated just because how valuable he is. Because just put a terrible quarterback in his spot, they're not winning games. I
Yeah.
think people just don't appreciate that Kirk Cousins can win football games. Kirk Cousins could give you 4.5 thousand yards a season, 30 touchdowns. I want to see how his stats rank amongst the NFL. If I can pull up his ESPN.
Well,
See,
I got his advanced stats right here.
okay,
So,
hit me.
so some guys are worse because like they had like injury problems, like Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler. Like they're a little worse. But Kirk Cousins, he's 19th in EPA per play. Um, he is he is 17th in EPA plus CPOA. He is he's 12th in success rate, which I'll give him credit for that. And like his completion over expected is 10th, which is like probably over the middle of the pack. So
Ooh, he's 23rd in QBR last year.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Again, I just think why people call him underrated is because they see because the people who really only get the attention in this league are the top quarterbacks, the Herberts, the Mahomes of the world, and guys like Kirk Cousins who can win you 8 to 12 games a season, maybe 13. I mean, they were like 9-1 at one point. He can lead a pretty good offense in this league. He can throw for 4,500 yards a season, 30 touchdowns, win a division, and push for a playoff win or two. That's the type of quarterback Kirk Cousins is, but that type of quarterback doesn't get spotlight because he isn't a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah,
Just quarterbacks who can win you games don't get enough love in this league.
yeah, yeah. Like as I said before, like if you want to clip this, I don't care. Kirk Cousins has a floor. We know what we expect out of him for like the last decade. He can win you a lot of games against really bad teams, but against elite defenses, he struggles a lot. Like example last year, brought up the multiple defenses: Eagles, Dallas, Packers, Bills. Um,
Yeah.
and in the playoffs, like yeah, he played the Giants. Like, they are the Giants, and they don't have that good of a defense. Um, but like if he played like a team like Dallas, he's gonna get destroyed because like he doesn't have high of a ceiling. He'll never he'll never be a playoff quarterback. Even though he had a good playoff game last year, but
Even when they played the Jets, he wasn't crazy.
yeah,
He only threw for 173 yards. Yeah, I'm looking at New England. He was pretty good against New England.
I'll give him credit against New England. He was good against New
He's
England.
pretty good against New England. But that next game against that Dallas game was, oh my God. He had 2 interceptions against Buffalo. Was Washington an elite defense?
Yeah, they are. They are.
He was 55% of his throws. It's not great. An
Yeah.
interception. Not a horrible game. Yeah, I don't think he died against the Saints. I think the Saints are up there.
I think the Saints were injured at the time.
This was beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly. 3 interceptions against Philly was awful.
It's one of the worst games I ever see him play.
Had to be. And he beat my Colts. Worst day of my life.
I
Worst
think
day
the
of my life.
last no, the funny thing is, I think the last time he was actually a good quarterback, like a really good quarterback, was in Washington. Like his last 2 years in Washington.
Really?
No, like I actually thought he was a better quarterback because A, his arm strength was way better than it was now, and B, I think they had the O line. I think they had the O line to like protect his like pretty shit pocket presence.
Yeah, but his turnover numbers got better in Minnesota, in my opinion. In that one year, it was 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions in 21. How many games did they win in 21? Did they make the playoffs in 21?
No, they only won 8 games.
Yeah.
won 7 games in 2020. I mean, look at these records. Like 1-4. Like he only played 5 games in 14. 9-7, 8-7-1, 7-9, 8-7-1, 10-5, 7-9, 8-8, and 13-4.
That 9-7 year in Washington, that was the year they won the division, right?
Yes.
Let me pull up that playoff game before.
And he was not that great in that play. He threw 46 times.
Oh, you have the stats?
63% of his passes, 330 yards, 1 touchdown, 91
playoff. Yeah, here it is. Yeah,
wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad playoff game.
took 6 sacks.
6 sacks is really bad.
Hey, Pierre Thomas was like the third string running back. Shout out to Pierre Thomas.
Wait, what? He was on Washington?
Yeah.
Super Bowl legend?
Super Bowl legend, Saints legend, Pierre Thomas. They had a decent receiving core though. D Jack, Pierre Garcon, Jordan Reed, Jameson Crowder, Brian Jameson Crowder.
Dude, I thought Jordan Reed was going to be the best tight end in the league.
Dude, he was good for like a year.
I mean,
I think he was a Pro Bowler, if I'm not mistaken. Once.
Yeah, but he didn't even make the Pro Bowl his best year of his career, which is like hilarious. But
yeah, shout out to Jordan Reed. He's no longer in the National Football League. But thank you to everyone for tuning in to the 51st episode of Some Casual Takes. Pretty good stream today, talking some ball. Next show will be Friday at 12:30. If it's not, follow my social medias for an update or a change of time. Follow the Some Casual Takes TikTok. I'll post on my story. If it's not Friday at 12:30, I think Friday's show, I want to talk some baseball with some of the baseball people I'm trying to find. Baseball trade deadline is on August 1st is Monday? No, August 1st is Tuesday. That's the baseball trade deadline. There's a lot to talk about. Some of the best players in this league in baseball could get traded, and I want to talk about that because I want to just try baseball at least on this show. I know a little bit about baseball. I want to at least try to talk about it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll just stick to baseball and football. But Kieran, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you for always coming on. Till Friday, that is it from the pod. Peace, everybody. I don't have outro music, so